Okay, here's a radical question, and we'll start right away. So the first step is we'll try to isolate this radical term on one side. So first of all, we're going to get rid of that 1 by subtracting 1 on both sides, which will give us y minus 3 is equal to the square root of x minus 1. Now, in order to get that square root sign, we're going to square both sides. And I'm not going to skip any step because I have a lot of students who kind of get lost if I do any shortcuts, so I'll rewrite that as y minus 3 is equal to, and remember, anytime when we square a square root sign, we get rid of those two, so it becomes y minus 1. And now let's expand these terms like y times y times -3, -3 times y, and -3 times -3, which gives us y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to y minus 1. So now we'll isolate all the terms on one side. So we're going to subtract y on both sides, and we'll add 1 on both sides. So on the right side, that gives us 0 on the right side. And now on the left side we have y squared. And now -6y minus y gives us -7y. And 9 plus 1 gives us 10. So now we have this polynomial which we can factor quite easily. So we'll factor it. So y and y gives us y squared. And a factor of 10, which gives us -7, is going to be -5 and -2, because -5 minus -2 gives us -7, and -5 times by -2 gives us +10. And when we solve for the y, so first what we have is y minus 5 is equal to 0. So we add 5 on each side. So we end up getting y is equal to 5 as one of our possible solutions. And the other factor, which is y minus 2 is equal to 0, we're going to add 2 to both sides, which gives us y is equal to 2. However, although we solve for the possible values of y, we need to verify that original equation. So what we do is, I'm going to rewrite it up here. So we'll take the value where y is equal to 5 first. So when y is equal to 5, I'll rewrite the equation. So y minus 2 is equal to the square root of 5 minus 1. Whoops. Y minus 1 plus 1. Now let's substitute the value of 5. So it's going to give us 5 minus 2 is equal to the square root of 5 minus 1 plus 1. So 5 minus 2 gives us 3 on the left side. And on the right side, well, 5 minus 1 gives us square root of 4 plus 1. So 3 is equal to, so square root of 4 is 2 plus 1. Therefore, 3 is equal to 3. So that verifies that y is equal to 5 is one of the possible values. So for the next step, let's substitute 2 as y. So using the original equation, we'll say 2 minus 2 is equal to the square root of 2 minus 1 plus 1. So 2 minus 2 on the left side gives us 0. And on the square root side, well, 2 minus 1 gives us 1 plus 1. And we know that any square root of 1 is going to be 1, so 1 plus 1. So 0 is equal to 2, so therefore that proves that y is not the possible answer. So the possible answer for this radical is where y is equal to 5.